episode of the Inner City Mindset Podcast. We have Michael Callan Moss. Michael's another, very talented student athlete out of New York City. Has a great story. This is a kid that, really put the time and work, in to get to the level that he's at now. And he has some really good coaching staff that really played a major role into his development. And that ended up landing him a Division I, scholarship at, Seton Hall University. Then he, shortly after transferred to St. Leo University. And now he's with the Kansas City Royals as a free agent. So, Callan, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the time for getting on this call. And, I kind of wanted to just start off, kind of just giving like a quick little background, right, when it comes to the success that you've had, right? So, attended Berkeley Carroll right here in New York City, state tournament in 2019. Shortly after, you committed to Seton Hall University, right? Played 2 seasons there. Then you transferred to St. Leo University in Florida. There you killed it. You was a, D2CA All-South Region second team athlete, right? You was an All-SSC first team and All-SSC defensive team member, right? And you led your team in almost every offensive category. So I'm sure that was a very big transition from Division I level to a really solid Division II conference down in Florida. And then, you ended up doing some really great things in the Appalachian League, right? And you killed it there as well. And now you landed as a free agent, right, for the Kansas City Royals. So I kind of just wanted to touch on your early life and baseball beginnings. Obviously, this has been a long journey for you, right? It didn't come easy. And you had some really great mentors in your life that played a major role. So tell me about growing up in Brooklyn. What kind of sparked that love for baseball? And, what was your biggest influences?
Yeah, I think, so I grew up Brooklyn, New York. I went to Berkeley Carroll almost my whole life. It was always baseball from the jump. Once you take me to the park, I'd be at the, Prospect Park, parade grounds, everything. They tried to put me in soccer, but I would always run the baseball fields. I was just drawn to it at an early age. I started playing with the Bonnies over at parade grounds when I was 3. My dad was like, "Yo, hear me out. My kid, he's 3, but I swear you can play with the 5-year-olds, all that." So I was playing t-ball like the 5-year-olds and everything. I played there for a minute, man. The Bonnies, that's kind of where it all started. Just playing ball all day. That's all it was. I come home while I was watching Yes Network every day. We were doing that, and as I got older, I played for a couple other teams. You know what I mean? Throughout Brooklyn, in New Jersey, and everything. And I really got plugged in with CJ, as you know. And that's probably been one of my biggest mentors kind of throughout my whole process. We probably got plugged in when I was 10, 12 years old. And then ever since then, it's been family. Guys like him, guys like Louis Monell. He was my coach at Berkeley Carroll. Coached me when I played in the Bulldogs and everything. He's been another great mentor, man. And I think a large part of my success has really been the village kind of around me. Guys I could bounce questions off of. Guys that were older than me that might have played, like Richie Palacios. He's with the Rays right now. I remember he was at Berkeley Carroll. He was in high school. I was in 5th grade. I used to go watch their practices, and he was like, "I know your little bro. It's whatever." And then ever since then, we just kept in touch. I called him when I was driving up to A-ball this year. He was like, "Give me advice," that kind of stuff. And just kind of all the people that have been around me, they played a huge role in kind of all my successes.
No, that's awesome, Colin. I feel like I could really relate to you on so many different levels because I grew up playing for the Brooklyn Bonnies, right?
Yeah.
I grew up playing for Coach Wiz, Coach Matt, all those guys, and they played a major role in the success that I had at the college level. But I remember those hot summers, right, at Parade Ground, that grind day in and day out, and building that brotherhood with my teammates. So I could definitely relate, with you there. And then when your brother Richie and Joshua Palacio, we used to play against them. Well, I used to play against Richie. Right? I think Richie was 1 year older than me. So it's been amazing to see the success that he's had. And I will never forget also, going to that PSL championship game our freshman year and seeing Josh kill. I think he won 3 for 3. It was, I believe, telecom versus Grand Street, I believe, at the time. And, just to see the success that it had, man, it's been amazing. So I could relate to you on so many different levels there, right? And obviously, we know, Callan, that, Brooklyn isn't traditionally known for baseball talent, right? So, compared to other regions, what challenges or advantages did you face growing up playing baseball here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I think for starters, we don't really have the facilities. You know what I'm saying? there's a couple spots. We don't have parks like that anymore. Like playgrounds, Prospect Park, like all that. Like it's hard to get on the field. It's always cold, but I think like it makes you gritty. You know what I mean? You gotta want it more, and it separates it a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of guys, you probably played with growing up. They're like, yeah, I want to play ball. I want to play ball. And then, we get a little older, and then, the cream kind of rises to the top in a sense where it's like you really got to want to get it. Like when I was younger, I used to take the train to Jersey, like 2-3 times a week, like 2.5 hours. I go down there, so like they let me hit, I could lift, and I could be around like other dudes that were doing it. You know what I'm saying? I think that was kind of an advantage, though. You know what I mean? It really, like, you got to find different ways to get it. I remember me and my pops, we used to hit in the winter. We would hit the Church Avenue F station.
Okay.
I set up a tee, wiffle balls, and I swear we hit in the train station. I was looking at the video the other day. They had the long walkway, so like you could hit and like no one would bother you. Like it was just finding ways to get it done. And I think like as you get older, you play higher level sports and just you're put in different situations. I think that's helped me. I think finding ways to get things done when they weren't easy. You grow up with adversity. It makes it a lot easier to get there when get it done when you're older.
Absolutely. I think humility is a really big part of this game. Like, you mentioned, taking hacks out of train station right before games, right before heading to the prayer grounds. And I just remember even in college, hitting beans before games, right? Doing my dynamic stretching, right? Something that CJ really taught us growing up. Doing ladder work before games. Like, I think that you need to do whatever it takes to make sure that you're getting better. You're prepared for that game. It doesn't matter how silly it might look. Like, humility is really big when it comes to this. So, I really appreciate you for sharing that. And then, obviously, like, summer ball plays a major role in, your development here in New York City. It's not like in other states where, like, high school ball is the thing, right?
Exactly.
But I know that, obviously, you attended Berkeley Carroll, which is a very solid program, man. You played in the state tournament in 2019. Can you kind of talk about that experience and what it meant for your development as a player?
Yeah, no, that was big. I think Berkeley Carroll, we were a pretty big baseball school. I haven't really been I've really kept up since I've been gone. Our coach left, and I've been keeping tabs. But we used to be a pretty solid program, private school ball in the city, and I had the chance to start playing varsity at in 8th grade, and I got to kind of see some of the guys before me, kind of they laid the groundwork for kind of the program. Guys like Philip Bernstein, Alan Santana, they were integral parts in kind of my development as a player early on. I had a rough year my freshman year. It wasn't what I thought. I was always like that short fat kid. So I was like I could hit, but I couldn't really feel, I couldn't really run, I couldn't really throw. So I was like, sophomore year, like I'm gonna come back, and like at that time, like high school ball, it mattered. You know what I mean? Me and one of my best friends, Theo Gold, he was on the team at the time. We were both sophomores, and we're like, like it's kind of our time.
Right. Make it happen.
Let's make it happen. We had a pretty good squad. We made it happen. We kind of balled out. We won our league, and we had an earlier exit to the state tournament that we wanted, but it was cool to get there. Like it gave us a taste of that postseason baseball. I think that's something that's kind of carried throughout even my college career now. Like I had a chance to play postseason ball at St. Leo. I won a chip in the summer. I think that kind of sparked some of that competitiveness in me for sure.
That's awesome. And now I kind of want to touch on that, seeing Hall, a commitment, and talk about that journey, right? Because I feel like in high school, right, especially growing up in New York City, you're usually very highly favored, right? You're usually probably one of the better athletes on your travel ball team or on your summer, ball team. However, right, at the college level, it's a completely different ball game, especially at the Division I level, right?
Yeah.
So, kind of talk to me about your commitment to Seton Hall in the fall of your senior year and what the recruitment process was like for you. Kind of like what made Seton Hall the right choice for you at the time.
Yeah. So for me, it was tough because I was a really late bloomer. Like I told you, I wasn't nice enough to get scouted by any colleges or pro teams until probably my junior year, ended my junior year. And then that was like COVID. So we're in lockdown going in the summer before my senior year. We had planned to go to, I was playing on a team in Jersey at the time called Time to Sign. Those guys really helped me a lot too. But we were supposed to go to Georgia, Florida that whole summer, and then lockdown hit, and we're like, we don't really know what's gonna happen. I didn't have a lot of offers at the time. I had a couple D2 offers, couple D3 offers. I was considering taking my post-grad year at a boarding school. But that summer started off, we were playing in Jersey a lot, like Diamond Nation. Our coaches would set up like private workouts. We just like scrimmage against each other. Coaches would come, and then I want to say it's like September, my senior year. We're playing a night game, close game. I had a home run, pimped it. It was crazy. My coach, he sent out the video to like 5 coaches. And then Seton Hall called me literally that night. I'm like at my boys' crib in Jersey. Pick up the phone. We on the phone. They're like, "Hey, Cal, like we saw this video. We like you. Want to bring you to campus." I go on a visit. Like the next Monday, like I took off from school, went on this visit. I liked it. I liked what I saw. It seemed like a nice little spot. It's close to home, but it was still different. I mean, right. Jersey's still way different than New York. It's an hour away.
For sure.
It was enough, and I liked the facilities. The coaches seemed real cool. And I thought I'd have a chance to play early on.
Right.
I committed I want to say they made the offer 2 days later. I committed on the spot, and then that was it. And then we got to work.
That's awesome. And I know obviously you did some really great things that freshman year, and your sophomore year at Senior Hall, like things probably didn't go as anticipated, right? Like, what mental space were you in after your sophomore season at Seton Hall?
It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. That was one of those things. Like my freshman year, I had a chance to play a lot. I started, 20 games or so between first base and DH. I had a pretty good second half of the season. I struggled early on, but I finished pretty strong. And my sophomore year, actually, I injured my back in the fall, so I was out all fall. Kind of came back in the spring. We brought in some new coaches. We brought in some new players. I lost my spot. That was what it was. I think it was a reality check for me for sure. Nothing's given. Nothing's given. I lost my spot. I didn't get it back. And I just knew also one of those things, like if I want to play pro ball, I got to play. And whether I love Seton Hall, like I still talk to all my boys from there. It's still family, but at the end of the day, I think in every athlete's life, you got to be selfish. And I had to be selfish myself there. I had the transfer portal. I was in the Appalachian League. I was playing pretty well. The guy I had played for the summer before, in the Appalachian League, he was like, "Hey, my boy's the coach at St. Leo. He likes you a lot. It's in Florida. You're gonna play, and it's Florida, so there's scouts." And I was like, "Okay." So I got on the phone with them. I talked to all the coaches, hitting coach. I love those guys. Coach Odette, Coach Caldwell, Coach Wydetic. Like, those are my guys for life. We're on the phone. They're like, "Yo, here's the deal, man. We can do something special at St. Leo." I was like, "Okay, cool." At first I was like, you know what, like, I'm a D1 guy. Like, I didn't know if there was like that ego, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know if I want to go D2 yet. I was kind of like feeling some things out, but I also knew what it was. I didn't have a great season. I wasn't going to get paid at these schools, and
right.
How everything is going with the transfer portal. You got guys leaving that are good. They're established, and I wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I took the visit down to St. Leo. I fell in love.
Nice.
I committed there, and then the rest was history. That was probably the best year of my life. I loved it down there.
Absolutely.
That team.
Absolutely.
We hosted a regional. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was.
Right. Yeah.
It was a special time.
That's awesome, man. And bro, like, I'm so proud of like how you handled that situation, because if you didn't have that mental capability to bounce back, you could have easily maybe decided to drop out of school or stop pursuing this dream, right, of playing pro ball and continue to pursue your academic and athletic career. So I think the mental aspect of the game is so important. Like, developing these kids at the high school level mentally to be mentally tough and know how to deal with adversity is huge, because guess what? You could have been, a 3-year captain, superstar in high school, right? But it's not guaranteed. Nothing's going to be given to you at the college level.
Nothing's guaranteed, man. And you learn.
So absolutely. That's why, like, a lot of these coaches tell these kids, like, go to the school that's going to be the right fit for you. Don't chase a name or a perception, right? Go to the school that's going to be the right fit for you. And obviously, you saw that transition at St. Leo. Like, you saw what type of impact that made on your development, and in reality, probably was the best decision you made, right?
Yeah.
It put you in the position that you are in today, right? So I think that's huge. And obviously, the transition from playing in the Big East to playing in the Sunshine State Conference, both on and off the field, completely different, right? So tell me about that transition. Obviously, you're playing, against Lynn University, University of Tampa. Like, these are big time Division II programs that probably can compete with a lot of D1s. So tell me about that transition on and off the field.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think getting down to Florida, I say my eyes were open first time. So it's in the fall. We're playing at JUCO, right? I'm like, all right, like JUCO day, like it is what it is. We played at JUCO the week before. They weren't that great. It was cake at a homer. I was like, okay, well, I'm lit. The next week it's our pro day. We show up, like we're on the field, we're hitting BP. We got like 25 scouts. I'm like, okay,
right.
Oh, this is real. And this team on the field was College of Central Florida. Like they'd won the JUCO national championship the year before, and everyone was like, nah, they lost all their guys. Like we got it, whatever. So we see the first pitcher, bro. Their starter comes out the gate. He's 94, 98. I was like, all right, cool. Right? Next guy comes in, like everyone's going like 2 innings. It was like a 15-inning game. The next guy comes in, he's like 93, 96. I was like, oh! All right. And then next one comes in, lefty, he's like 92, 94. I'm like, damn, bro.
With movement.
Boom. Like, it ended up being a good game. Like, I had a couple doubles. Like, we won, but it was like, I was like, this is the comp in Florida. Okay. We can do this. Like, this is legit. And then we get into the spring, same thing, bro. Like, it's like there was dudes. Like, there was dudes for real. And I didn't know what it was going to be like. Like, I'm from New York. I never played baseball in Florida like that. Like, I didn't know where these kids were, but it was a bunch of kids kind of in my situation. You know what I mean? They never got that kind of – they might not succeed at the D1 level, whatever it was, whether they got in trouble or they got hurt or it was – everyone was different, you know what I'm saying? But it was a bunch of dudes, like, it was really good ball. It was really good ball. We at University of Tampa, they won the national championship. They had a couple guys go to play pro ball. Lynn had a guy go play pro ball. Nova Southeastern had a guy play pro ball. It was just really good ball. I think it was different. It was a little, I guess D1 you get pampered for real. You do. Yeah. It's just how it is. But I think, like you said, like a humility piece, like you got to humble yourself a little bit and be like, yo, I'm not better than anything. You know what I mean? I think I got down there and I was probably a little shocked by the comp, but I was happy that was the comp. You know what I mean? We got to play good baseball against good guys. We were put in the right situations. I want to say like our Friday guy, St. Leo, he got drafted in the 20th round. Nice. Luke Lashukka, he's with the Marlins now. We had scouts everywhere. People were coming to see us play, and the best part was we had coaches that really believed in us. You know what I mean? Right. I remember, coaches like, "Yo, you can take this game as far as you want to. You can be a guy, you cannot be a guy. It's up to you." And he said, "Your career's in your hands. It's up to what you want to do with it." And I was like, "All right." And I think we all kind of took that on, and I think a lot of guys had great seasons. It was just special. It was special to be a part of.
I'm glad to hear that. And again, like I said earlier, like I'm glad that you got this opportunity at St. Leo and you ran with it, right? Because again, a lot of kids would have, easily shut down, right? Their confidence is, not where they want to be, right? So I'm glad that you were in a different environment, new set of guys, right? New coaching staff. So again, and it was a game changer, right? Like you led St. Leo in all offensive categories. You're 360. You started in 47 out of 48 games. Like it's tough at the Division I level where you might be starting one game and then you got to sit for 3-4 games. Like it's hard to get a rhythm, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you had this opportunity, again, and obviously like you achieved some impressive accolades at St. Leo, including, being named to several all-region teams and leading your team in offensive categories. What a part of your game do you think really improved the most during your time there?
I think for me, it was partially the chance to get to play every day, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And then partly it was, I've always, in my whole career, I've done really well when people believe in me. Right. And
gotcha.
that was just like, I was that kid. I was never supposed to play D1 baseball. I was never supposed to, play pro baseball. Like you ask CJ what I look like at 10 years old. You're like, yo, this kid, like, yo, he loves the game. Like he got no shot. That's I'll never forget. My mom, she went to University of Virginia, and she was like, yo, they got a nice baseball team. Like you could play there. And I was like, all right. So she takes me out to a camp. We run the 60-yard dash, 9.8. 9.8.
Gotcha.
Like,
okay.
Hey, right, then we're taking ground balls. I thought then everyone at shortstop, we're throwing to first base. 64. I was like, oh shit. With him,
like I got a long way to go.
long way to go. Bro, with him VP, man, I think I hit like 3 balls out the infield. And I was 14. Like, yo, I gotta lock in. And then you know, we got there, and then I get to St. Leo, like, you know, I was like, yo, like, you can do this. You can. Like, we see it in you, you can do it. You put in the work, you can do it. And I got a lot of love for the Appalachian League, man. I played 3 summers there, and like I wouldn't have been here without them too. I think that allowed me to you play every day, right? Like, it's summer ball. Like, you hit 150, you hit 350, like, you're there to play. And like, it was good comp too. It was a bunch of guys. Like, I probably played with 30 dudes that got drafted or signed in my 3 years there, right? Like, the comp was insane, the coaching was great, and like, you learn so much about the game and yourself. And like, I'm coming to St. Leo, I'm like, yo, I was an Appy All-Star. Like, I got this confidence now. Like, that's a big thing too. I think as I've gotten older and as I've like kind of moved through, you know, college and then baseball, I think the confidence piece is unreal. Like, the amount of confidence that you have to have and keep having. Like, I was always gonna doubt myself. You know what I mean? And that's why like I'd go 0 for 4 and I'd be like, nah, I gotta go to the cages, I gotta go to the cages, I gotta figure it out, right? And part of it, like, that was good for a minute. I was like, okay, like, he's working hard, like, proud of him, but part of it was like, yeah, at some point you gotta trust yourself. Like, 1 for 4 doesn't mean like you're a bad baseball player. And I think you know, countless, like, 3 summers there, like, full season of St. Leo, and kind of going through the ups and downs of baseball. I think I finally got to a point, like you said, like, when I got there, where it's like, okay, like, I'm gonna trust myself. I have to trust myself. I got people that trust me. I got people that expect me to perform, and people that want me to perform. So it's like, now it's trust yourself and go to work. And I think once I kind of realized that, you know, I was able to, you know, do some special things at St. Leo.
That's awesome, man. And I know that you mentioned that obviously, like, in, you know, your younger ages, right? You felt you were, you know, a big, heavy kid, and you know, obviously your defense improved a lot throughout the years, right? So, you know, you named to the SSC, a defensive team. Tell me about how important the defense aspect of the game was for you, like, you know, to really prove to, you know, these coaches, like, listen, I'm not just a big kid with power, right? You know, I could have flared that glove as well, right? So tell me about that process.
Definitely. I think that was something that came probably a little later on, like in high school, middle school. Like, I couldn't field, man. I really couldn't. I was like probably 12, from like 11 to 14. I played for a guy named Charles Lelane, and I was playing first base. He coached me on the Bulldogs. He coached me on the Falcons. Like, I've known Charles forever, and he's like, "Yo, Cal, like, you really can't play first base." And I'm like, yeah, you're right. He's like, you can't really play ball, bro. Like, every day before every game, before we practice, he's throwing me picks. I'm picking whatever. And then I was like, okay, like, I can pick it a little bit now. Right? I still couldn't field that well. Like, you know, routine plays I had, but nothing other than that. But I'll start to pick it. And then probably throughout high school, you know, I lost the weight. I got a little better shape. I was like, okay, I can move a little better. I'm getting there. And then I get to college, Seton Hall. Boom, everyone's hitting the ball harder. I was like, oh, shoot, okay. All right, now I really got to lock in. And I wouldn't say it was probably till like my freshman summer in the Appy League. I played for a guy, Kevin Mahoney, New York guy. He's from Long Island. And he played in the Yankees organization for a minute. He's a third baseman. He was like, yo, like, you can hit, but you want to play pro ball, like, we got to get your glove right. So we were outside, probably early work every day, fielding ground balls. He gave me a small glove. He's like, every day you're using the small glove. So every day, one hand with the small glove, fielding ground balls, everything. And I get to St. Leo a couple years later. Our infield coach, Coach Dubs, he got me right too. He's like, yo, he used to have the machine out, the big hack attack. Yo, he's like, he's spinning balls, like, they're coming in mad hard, popping everything. He's like, yo, stay in front, pick it. And then that, like, that kind of deliberate work with people that knew what they were doing, it was paramount to my career. Now it's like, end of the season at St. Leo, all defensive team. You know, we fielded 980, 975 as a team. Like, it was,
That's awesome. So you guys definitely had like a really great, you know, program over there, and like the coaching staff took that aspect very serious. I'm sure that played a major role in the success that y'all had there, right?
100%.
And you know, this is, you know, a little bit off topic, right? But you know, obviously a lot of inner city athletes get the reputation of not being academically sound.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel like everybody wants to go D1, right? Everybody wants to go to a solid D2 program. So then you ask them about the GPA or the SAT scores, and they might need a lot of work in that aspect, right? So you were actually named to the SSC Commissioner Honor Roll.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me about how you balance the demands of college baseball and your academic responsibilities.
Yeah, so that started at home. Both my parents, I'm grateful for that. Both of them, they went to college. Actually, they both have their masters in something for sure. So like they were really big on academics. It was to the point I want to say in my sophomore year of high school, I didn't turn in the first draft of a paper. Right, we go to parent-teacher conferences.
Here we go.
My teacher say, "Hey, he didn't turn in the first draft, not the final. Like I got a month to turn that final one. He didn't turn in the first draft." My mom said, "Oh, okay."
Well, all right.
Coach, she said, "Yo, he's done for the week till that paper gets turned in."
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So your mom wasn't playing no games.
I never had a choice. I never had, if I didn't have a 3.5,
Beautiful.
it was over. And Berkeley Carroll was hard too, so she gave me a little leeway in high school. She's like, "All right, 3.3, like we'll let you rock." I was like, love. But once I got to college, if I never 3.5, it was raps. If I wasn't on Dean's list, yeah,
it was slow.
It was slow. So it was one of those things where, like, that was always a priority. I got to college and I was like, all right, I got to do school or mom's going to call my coach.
Right. Yeah. Nah, it's what it is.
I can't get embarrassed. So I was like, we're going to take care of school, and then whatever it is ball, but we're here for school first, at least. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And again, like, I'm glad that like your mom was, like that. Like she held you accountable, because guess what? Like when you get to college, even at the high school level, right? Like, coaches that really care about the academic aspect, they're gonna hold their players accountable.
Exactly.
So it's sad when you see a kid, get to college and they're not accustomed to somebody holding them accountable academically. And now to them, it's like, oh man, like, it seems like this coach doesn't want me as bad anymore. This and that. It's like, nah, like, listen, when you signed that scholarship, right? You signed a commitment.
Exactly.
Both on and off the field, right? Not only academically, how you carry yourself on campus, how you treat other people, how you treat your teammates. So it's unfortunate when a lot of young people think that, we just need to be a stud on that baseball field. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it, in order to, build yourself to be a well-rounded, young athlete. Now, obviously, the Appalachian League was a really big opportunity for you, right? Yeah. The Appalachian League, is one of the most respected developmental, leagues in the country. You get a lot of, summer collegiate prospects that play in this league, and you spent 3 summers there, right?
Yeah.
And it's powered by MLB. So, how does playing in this league shape you as a player? Like, can you kind of share like any memorable moments or challenges that you faced in this league?
Yeah, I say for starters, now that I played, a month of pro ball, I can say Appy one, it got me right for that. Like we play 6 games a week, Mondays off. You're at the field at 7:00 game. You're at the field at 2. Early work, BP, IO, get your treatment, get your food, game at 7. Like that 100% prepared me for pro ball, but also just kind of prepared me for life in a sense. And also like you're around great people, right? The coaches I played for, these are coaches that got accolades that we could never dream of. You know what I mean? This summer I had the chance to play for Mickey Tettleton as my head coach, 14-year big leaguer, 3-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, took Randy Johnson deep 5 times. He's my summer coach. You know what I mean? Like I see him at the field every day. I can call him, yo, Mick, like I can't hit a slider, help me out. Like, you know what I mean? It those kind of things that helps you out a lot. Last summer I got the chance to play for Desi Relaford, and he's another 10, 12-year big leaguer. I played for Torrey Pettiford, he's currently an area scout, and played the minors for 8 years. Freshman summer I played for Kevin Mahoney, Yankees org guy, and now Ryan Moss was our pitching coach. He's with the Yankees now. Dwayne Reiser, 40-year college coach, 1,000 win. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's that sets you up for success. Like when you got that much knowledge, you know what I mean? And if you do it the right way, which a lot of the guys do, you learn so much about the game and just how to carry yourself on a baseball field and in life as a baseball player, for sure. And then also like the guys you're around, you know, like as you know, like in New York, not a big baseball place. Like it can be hard to find dudes who are like minded and like that want to put the work in like you do. So it's like, or like I might be in Brooklyn, my boys in the Bronx, like, all right, like where we gonna go hit? You know what I mean?
Right.
It can be
me in the middle somewhere, like.
But now it's like I got 25 other dudes that are like, I want to play pro ball. They want to play pro ball, and we're in the same place for 10, 12 weeks. And like you learn from them too. Like I'll never forget, like my freshman summer, I play with this guy Roberto Pena. He might be one of the best baseball players I've ever seen in my life. He's currently in indie ball. He's tearing up in like 340 with 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, whatever. But at that, I was a freshman. He was going into his 5th year, and like just everything he taught me about baseball, like guys like that were integral. You know what I mean? He was like, "Yo, Cal, like, remember, I never forget." He said, "Why you take sliders down the middle, bro?" I was like, "What you mean?" I was like, "Trying to hit a fastball." He was like, "No, like, why you? Let's go further." He's like, I'm like, "For real?" He says, "Yeah, watch this." Next at bat, he goes up. He tells me, he's like, "Yo, 1-1 slider, home run." I was like, "All right." Okay, 1-1 slider, 430 backside. I was like, all right. I was like, "All right, cool, Chamo, I see you." So next game, I'm like, "Yo, Chamo, I'm gonna give me a slider today." He's like, "All right." Bomb on a slider. I come back in the dugout.
Okay.
I'm like, "Chamo, what's good, bro?" Yeah, you just learn so much, man. It's like all my friends for life, like my boys from summer ball, like we still talk on a regular basis. Like I'm gonna go see some of them in Florida in the off season. You know what I'm saying? Like it becomes family and it expands your network. You know what I mean? Like
that's awesome.
You get around guys. You obviously got your network at home. Like I got CJ, I got Lou. Now I got you. Like that's part of your network. But then I got guys I played with. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna be in pro ball too. And if they're not, like they're gonna be successful in baseball, and that's no doubt. And like your network's your net worth, and that helps with that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's something that CJ touched on when I interviewed him. I think like, dude, it's so important, right, to try to meet as many people as possible. Treat everybody that you touch, right. Treat them with respect, because you never know who's who.
Exactly.
People talk, right. You never know who's watching. So it's important. Like, one of the main reasons why I decided to reach out is literally just the way I see, just the way you carry yourself in CJ's workouts, right? I'm very selective who I want to have on my platform, and you're like, again, we never even met in person, and I'm rooting for you. Like I could tell that you were brought up the right way, right? You have the work ethic, and you're the type of kid that I would, I really wish I had as a teammate.
Yeah.
So that's very important. That's something that's going to take you much further, right? You got to take that with you. One day, after the game of baseball comes to an end for you, like, one day you might be a father, right? This is gonna, these character traits, right? These traits are gonna make you a better son, a better father, better sibling, right? So, again, the people skills is so important.
Huge.
And it's something that can really carry you, especially in the position that you're in now, right? On a daily basis, right? You're now competing with other guys in the Kansas City Royals organization, right? But you're also interacting with the coaching staff. And guess what? They're watching your every move, bro. Like, I tell a lot of inner city athletes, I'm like, listen, you're a kid from Detroit, you're a kid from New York City, you're a kid from Chicago. When you get to that college campus, they're watching your every move.
Every move. And then I guess we got a target on our back too from the get. You know what I mean? We're a risk. We always are.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we want to admit it or not, you come from, like, when you just come from a city, right? You because that's not what we do here, right? It's not supposed to be like, oh, we play baseball. New York City, LA, Chicago, like that's not what we do. You know what I mean? Like, or when you're from the Northeast and you go play in the South, that's just, it's different. So like they look at us just because we're from the city, we're East Coast guys, we're loud, we got a little swag to us, and it's like they're always watching. You know what I'm saying? And
sure.
As you get higher up, they always watch more. You know what I mean? Every little thing you do, that's just how it is.
For sure. And in 2024, you were named Happy Player of the Year, right? You participated in 2 home run derbies. You won the 2024 one. So, obviously, like, obviously the Appalachian League played a major role in your success, right? But can you describe how special that summer was for you in your career?
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where the home run derby, I was like, yo, like I gotta win it. It's my last year here. Like, there's no chance I'm not going out with a bang. But no,
Right.
win the Appy Player of the Year. I think that's part of the reason I was able to get that opportunity with the Royals. You know, like when you're, D2 guys, D3 guys, like there's good ball obviously everywhere. But if it's me or some guy from Texas or Florida or Florida State, like it's hard to be seen sometimes. I think the Appy helped get a lot of visibility in that sense. There's top prospects in that league. There's guys that are going to end up being first rounders in a couple years. Like it's heavily scouted and there's a lot of visibility. Obviously ran by MLB, so I think kind of the chance I had 3 years there to put up pretty solid numbers and eventually win Player of the Year there. That put a lot of weight on my name, and I think that definitely helped. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you had that opportunity, and I'm glad you represented right the city and inner city athletes throughout the whole country, right? Because obviously it's more than just a game. You're out there for the whole entire summer, so you're interacting with your teammates, right? After the games, on the weekends, hanging out. So I'm glad, and I know for sure that you represented your family in a positive manner, right? So that's awesome, man. Now I kind of wanted to touch on signing with the Royals, shortly after your standout 2024 season at St. Leo, you signed as a free agent with the Royals. How did that opportunity come about? And what was your reaction when you got that call?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with in June, our coaches at St. Leo, they all left, right? They moved to another school. It was kind of a better opportunity. I was like, yeah, do it, whatever, but I'm gonna hit the transfer portal. So I was in the transfer portal early on. And I committed to University of North Florida, which is
Okay.
the beach school in Jacksonville. So I'm supposed to go there all summer, and I'm like, all right, like I might get drafted. Like I had a pretty good year, St. Leo. There's a chance I get drafted. A couple scouts here and there. I was like, all right, like this could happen. Like day 3, and it didn't go by, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to UNF, and I'll just get drafted next year. And then
Mhm.
we win the championship in the Appy, and then like the day after they announced I'm player, like a couple days out, I learned I'm player of the year, and I'm like, okay, cool. And it's literally the day after we win the chip, I'm driving down to Florida. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drop because Virginia is like 6 hours from Jacksonville, but it's like 9 hours from here. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna drop my car off for 2 weeks, fly home to New York, and then when school starts, I'm gonna just my car's already there, my stuff's already there, no problem. So I'm driving down to Jacksonville. I'm like an hour away, and I get a call from the Royals. They're like, hey Cal, like, we've seen you all summer, like we know what you did at St. Leo. Just kind of want to get a gauge on if you want to play professional baseball. I'm like, yeah, I do.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, all right, we'll touch base tomorrow. I was like, okay, cool. So then I fly home to New York. I get back next day. We're on a call. We're like, all right, you know, just want to ask some questions. We're just kind of feeling each other out and everything. And later that night, they're like, all right, we're gonna offer you a contract. Like, oh shoot, okay.
Beautiful, right?
That's a,
Like it's really happening.
I go to my mom. She's sleeping. Like, mom, they sent me a contract. I'm gonna be Kansas City Royal. It was mad cool, man. The next day, the Appy's like, yo, we want you to go to MLB Network. You're gonna announce it on there. And I was like, oh shoot, okay. And then I went on MLB Network. I was on their morning show. Me and my coach from the summer, Mickey, were on there. We announced on live air, and then that Friday they sent me to their A ball affiliate in Carolina. It was
Beautiful.
quick, man. Yeah.
Listen, that's a beautiful story, man. And again, like it makes me feel even better to know that Brooklyn kid grew up playing for the Brooklyn Bonnies, right? Ended up at Berkeley Carroll and did some really big things there as well. And then you killed at the college level, right? So nobody more deserving, right? Man, I think that this is something that is a really big inspiration to a lot of inner city athletes, especially from the city, from New York, right? Again, baseball is not as big here, so to show these kids that yes, it could happen for you. Like why not you, right?
Exactly.
Why not? So, you know, now you're obviously talking about inner city youth, right? What advice would you give to young players who might not come from a traditional, powerhouse high school or powerhouse, university? but still dream of making it to that next level, whether that's college or pro ball?
I think I'm telling you, man, the biggest thing is there's not one path, right? Like when I was younger, it was always like, all right, man, I'm gonna go to high school. I'm a good freshman, sophomore year. It used to be like that. The summer before your junior year, that was your summer, right? It's like I want to be committed, fall my junior year. That way, I'm set. Like they gonna throw me a bag. I'm gonna get a scholarship. I'm gonna go for free. And then it's like, all right, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to college for 3 years. I'm gonna play, start as a freshman. I'm gonna start as a sophomore, start as a junior, and my junior year is my draft year. And like that's supposed to be the plan, right? But there's not one plan. Like there's never just one plan, right? And I think once I understood that, because I was like in that situation where it's like, oh shoot, okay, I'm not committed as a junior. Okay, I committed late my senior year. Okay, now I had to transfer. Shoot, now I play D2. Like guys aren't, you know what I'm saying? Like as long as you realize like there's not one plan, like that's the first step, right? It was like I pulled up to A ball. It was like one of our starting pitchers in our rotation. He played at D3 for 3 years, right? He ended up going to Kentucky, whatever after that, but he started at D3. And then my first week there, we're playing another team. It's a D2 guy on the mound. You know what I'm saying? He went to D2. Like, because once you get up there, you realize like there wasn't just one plan, right? And I think a lot of guys, especially in the city, like we all get caught up with like we first of all we think we know everyone, we know everything. Like I was that. It's just how it is, And I think once you realize like there's not just one plan for everything, and like you can take the road less traveled, bro. Like you can. Like I seen, like we know plenty of dudes got picked up out of schools like you've never heard of. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then boom, they're in the big leagues. And that's the one thing. And two, it's like in the city, it can be very easy to get distracted. No matter what city you're in. Like we don't live in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
there's always something to do.
There's always something to do, and like you really gotta lock in. You know what I'm saying? Like if you say you love it, you gotta love it and you gotta do it because we got a short window. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you want to play pro ball now, like your window's from 18 to 21 to get into it, or 18 to 23 to get into it. So that's a short window. Like, and I think learning how to stay focused and stay diligent, and that'll send you a long way. And then 3, like the classroom, man. Like you touched on earlier, like the classroom. That's my biggest advice too. Like there was a bunch of dudes that I knew growing up, played against growing up. They might have been a little older than me. I was like, yo, like he's gross. He's the best dude I ever seen. And then you see he doesn't get to go where he wants to go because of the grades.
Yeah.
And that's how you can't get into school, you can't play at school. Like that's huge. Like
absolutely.
There's only like in D1 baseball, I think they changed the rules, but it's 34 spots on a team. Right? 34 spots. And depending on what school you go to, like they have a certain amount of scholarships they can give out, right? They got a certain amount of money they can give out. And then boom, college is expensive. Baseball's not getting full rides.
Yeah. I believe they get 11.7 scholarships, 11.7,
right? And then now they're making it so like if the school can't afford it, you can give out 34 full rides, right? But then your roster's capped at 34. But not every school can afford 34 scholarships.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
So that's for most of the schools we're talking about, that's not going to happen. And then college is expensive, bro. Like my first year at Seton Hall, I had no scholarship. It was strictly academic. My second year, I had scholarship. But like my academic money took care of a lot of it, right? It's like you want to afford school, college, $40,000, man. $40,000 ain't cheap.
Yeah, I said, yeah.
That's a year, and you got to go 3 to 4 years.
Right. Then grad school. If you decide to go to grad school, like easy be, mind you, room and board, food, like adds up.
It's up there. So like the better your grades are, the better you can make things happen, and like they want you more too. You know what I mean? And
for sure.
Those are probably my 3 biggest things because it's like, and also just surround yourself with the right people too. Like, it's like I said, no matter where you are, you can always end up in the wrong crowd. But here,
absolutely,
like in cities, no matter where they are, it can be easier to hop in a wrong crowd. It just can't be. And I think the more you can surround yourself with the right people and people that want you to succeed, then you're straight. Then you got a village that's supporting you, and that's special.
Right.
And that's that motivation, and that's that. Oh, we're gonna pick you up when you're down, right?
Absolutely.
And you keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a bunch of friends that were older than me. They're like, "Nah, you go, little bro. Keep going. You make it. You're good." you're making it. You're good, right? Like I got guys like CJ in my corner every time. Shoot, like if I got a problem, I call him like, "Yo, man, like I'm dealing with this." He's like, "All right, we're good."
For sure. And like, I feel like, another thing that we probably took for granted growing up in the city, it's like, I always remember, like, walking, in the community I grew up in here in Coney Island, like, the one dude, on the corner, like, oh, that's the baseball player. He gonna make it. He gonna make it. We room for you. So, like, you have a lot of supporters, even in your own community. Like, it's not always negative, right? When you grow up, like, in, a underserved community, right? Like, it's not always negative. There's always somebody room for you.
Exactly.
It's all about the mindset and whether you appreciate that love that you get, right? The love that I'm getting from the owner of the bodega, might be the same amount of love that you might be getting at home, right? So you got to definitely like take it all in and cherish it, right? And kind of to end this, this interview, right? Obviously, it's been a long journey for you, and you made a lot of things happen, and I'm super proud of you, right? What are you most excited about, as you enter into this next phase of your career with the, Kansas City Royals organization?
Man, I'm really just excited I get to play ball, man. Like, I get to play ball for a living now, and that's the best thing. Like, I think everyone's like, I was always told like that's too big of a dream. Like, it's like, yo, what do you want to do? I want to play baseball. What do you want to do when you get older? I want to play baseball. No, like realistic. No, but it was realistic, right? Like I get to live my dream now, and I think that's what I'm most excited about. And now I get to like, if I do what I think I can do, I get the chance to give back too. So like that's big. And I think when it's all said and done, my end goal has always been I want to build a facility in New York, big one, like centrally located somewhere.
Big, baby. Big.
Like, give kids a place to train, like for free. Like come in, like we're gonna have the staff, we're gonna have your strength coach, your hitting coach, your pitching coach, nutrition, like academics, like because I'm telling you, man, I've seen so much talent here in this city, and that's with everything, right? It's sports, it's arts, it's whatever, but like there's so much talent here and so many like great young people, but sometimes it could just be hard based off like where it is, you know what I'm saying? And I think if I can help out in any way, I'm going to do that. And I think that's the most exciting part is now I'm in a place where I can start to do that, right? I'm not paid yet, but like if hopefully I get to that point, I can do something with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's ideal.
That's a beautiful thing to hear because like I remember growing up, for the Brooklyn Bonnies, like having to take the train from Coney Island all the way to Ozone Park. That's borderline Brooklyn, Queens. And I remember that being like an hour and a half commute.
Yeah.
Right? Just to get there, an hour and a half back. And these cages weren't cheap. I think the rentals were like $80 for 2 hours at the time.
And that was
at the time.
Apparently. That's what they're telling me. $80.
Right. So yeah, so a lot of inner city athletes, their parents can't afford that. They can't even afford maybe a 1 hour session 2-3 times a week. So I love the fact that you're you have that vision of wanting to give back to your community and to give back to inner city athletes because there's always gonna be lack of resources, right? Especially in the inner city communities, man. Man, if people like you and I can give back in any way, like that's huge, So, Callan, like it's been a pleasure speaking to you. It's been a pleasure, getting to know you. I wish you the best of luck, in this next phase of your life, right, with the Royals. And I know you're gonna do big things. You're gonna do big things far beyond the game as well. You have great character. You were brought up the right way, and I wish you the best of luck. And thank you for your time, brother.
Of course, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Every time we can connect, talk about city, talk about ball, talk about everything else, it's always a pleasure, man. Thank you, Evan.
For sure. Thank you.